What's up, everyone? It's me, back at you once again, Chris. Here to give my afterthoughts on UFC 91, Couture versus Lesnar. I know they don't name these things anymore, these UFCs, like names like Fully Loaded and Stacked and whatever other pro wrestling sounding names they do to some of the cards. But if they did, they could have named this one, gone Mortal Kombat style, and called it UFC 91 Finish Him. Because I don't think one fight went the distance. As a matter of fact, no. Oh, yeah. George Jurgel, Aaron Riley did, which was all good because that ended up being the fight of the night, one of the last fights we saw. But definitely one of the most exciting back and forth, constant action. So gotta like. Also, that's another thing I like. I'm really glad UFC really hooked it up. They showed all 9 fights, so definitely got your money's worth. And I wasn't really looking too forward to this card except for the main event, because the undercard, it has some pretty good names, but it wasn't really real star-studded lineup cards, so to speak. But the fact that they showed us every single fight more than made up for it, and all the fights had pretty definitive endings. So props to UFC for doing that, and it definitely shows why I'm more comfortable buying UFC pay-per-views than boxing ones, because you're pretty much always going to get your money's worth with the UFC pay-per-views. So that's out of the way. Let's move on to the card real quick. Don't really want to say too much about some of these undercard fights. Overall in the fights, I think I went 5-4 maybe. Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5-4. I went on my pick, so didn't really do that good. But hey, can't pick them all right. And if you did, it probably wouldn't be as exciting to watch. Anyways, moving on. Like I said, some of these undercards, Matt Brown beat Ryan Thomas. Not much to say there. I already mentioned the George Jurgel Aaron Riley fight. Went the distance. Exciting fight. Got fight of the night. Deservedly so. Not much to say other than that. Alvin Robinson, Mark Bocek. Bocek wins the late submission. Not much to say there. Jeremy Stevens, Rafael Dos Anjos. Stevens gets a knockout of the night. Landed that sick uppercut, and then just finished him off on the ground, but the uppercut pretty much sealed it. I mean, that was awesome. That's like something you'd see out of a video game or something in a movie. It's not the kind of punch you used to see in an MMA fight, but it was sick. And I think I noted before that I like Jeremy Stevens a lot. I like his style, and he's an aggressive fighter. And if I had if I was Joe Silva, the matchmaker at UFC, which I'm not, I'd like to see him fight Melvin Guillard next. Those guys both fight similarly, have similar attitudes towards fighting. I think it'd be an exciting fight while it lasted. So, anyways, let's move on to the main card real quick. Just get out the way. Gabriel Gonzaga stopped Josh Hendricks, TKO'd him. That was Hendricks' first fight in the UFC. It might be his last, the way he looked. I know he's like supposed to be a good wrestler, but the way he was shooting in and stuff, it didn't look very good. He looked really just not on the same level as Gonzaga, and obviously it showed. So Gonzaga gets a win, which he needed. He's back in the mix. I'm not for sure who they'll put him up against next. There's a lot of guys out there. Maybe a Heath Herring type or something. Maybe they'll put him against the guy that just knocked out Verdun, Junior Dos Santos, I believe his name is. Who knows? But they wanted to get Gonzaga a win, and they did. Easy. We had Damian Maia versus Nathan Corey. Pretty much when I thought it would, although Maia ended it sooner than I thought. I thought he might make it to the second round, Corey. But he didn't. I don't know what to say here. Maia got him on the ground, finished him off. He has a huge advantage there. The guy's still undefeated. He's 9-0. I believe he's 4-0 in the UFC. I don't think he's ready for Anderson Silva yet. But he's moving up the ladder. Maybe against they should put him up against Nathan Marquardt, because that's a good test. If he gets by Marquardt, then maybe I think he can get a shot at Anderson. And if not, well, then he's just in line like everybody else. Next fight, Dustin Hazlett versus Tamden McCrory. This fight, I thought it might go to a decision, but Hazlett used the sick jiu-jitsu game to, McCrory. Hazlett used the sick jiu-jitsu game to finish off McCrory. Both good guys. I hope to see them both fight again, but Hazlett's moving up that ladder. I heard someone mention earlier this week maybe he should fight a Diego Sanchez next. I'd like to see that fight. To be honest, I'd probably pick Hazlett just because he's so much of a bigger fighter. I don't know what all Diego would have the advantage of him against, so that's a fight I'd like to see. If not, I'd like to see Hazlett fight John Fitch. I think as far as styles-wise and stuff, and aside from the fact that they somewhat look alike, which Hazlett's pointed out in the past, I don't know, I just think it'd make for an exciting fight. Wrestler versus a grappler. And they're both good all-around, well-rounded fighters, so hopefully we'll get to see Hazlett again soon, and McCory. I like both those guys. So next we have Kenny Florian, Joe Stevenson. Yeah, I said Florian would win. He did. Looked impressive. I'm still not a fan, but hey, I kind of got mad when he grabbed the fence when Stevenson was going to put him on his ass. But it doesn't matter. I think Kenny probably was going to win anyway, the way the fight ended. He's calling out BJ Penn. Looks like that'll probably be next, although it depends on if he wants to wait for it, because BJ's got the fight with GSP coming up, so we'll see. But Kenny gets the shot next. Gotta admit, he earned it, whether or not I like the guy, but I don't see him posing much of a threat to BJ Penn. I think BJ Penn's better than him in all facets of the game. But like I said, he's earned a title shot, so hopefully he'll get it, and we'll see how he does against BJ, and that'll let us know how far he's progressed. But definitely has improved since his Ultimate Fighter days. Definitely a guy I didn't think would have reached the levels that he's at, but he's proved us all wrong. So, well, not all, but myself at least. Last main event. Let's get to it. New heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar. What can I say? I picked Randy to win by decision. I just thought Brock was too inexperienced, to be honest. I mean, it was his fourth fight or his fifth fight? I believe it was his fourth fight. And I know Randy'd been off for a while. He had the age, thing working against him. Also, obviously, he had the size disparity working against him. But I think it did come down to that, size and strength. The thing is, it would have been interesting to see if the fight would have went longer, how it would have turned out. Because both guys seem to be kind of getting tired already by the second round. I think for Randy, mostly because Brock, when he was on top of him, I think he was kind of tiring him out. And for Brock, I don't know, he's just a big guy, and Randy was leaning on him a lot on the cage, and Brock was working hard for a takedown a couple times, which he was able to get eventually. But, I got to give Brock his props. I saw some people saying, even afterwards he doesn't deserve it. What did he do? He's just a big guy. He's not going to hold the belt. I don't know. If he fights Nogueira next, if Nogueira beats Mir, I think Nogueira would win. But if he fights Mir, if Mir beats Nogueira, I would actually pick Lesnar against Mir at this point. And aside from Gabriel Gonzaga, since the UFC heavyweight division is kind of thin, I don't really give many other guys aside from Gonzaga a shot at beating Brock at the moment. Another thing, real quick, I want to give a shout out to my subscriber Blue183. I believe his real name's Gregory. All week long he's been telling me how Brock was going to win, making a case for Brock, and I didn't believe him. I was kind of stating why I thought Couture was going to win. He said Couture was overrated. I still disagree with you on that, pal. But props, you called it. You told me Brock was going to win. You said he was too big, too strong, and that proved to be the case. So I don't know where Brock goes from. I know where Brock goes from here. He's going to fight the winner, Mir Nogueira. Like I said, I think it's going to be Nogueira, and we'll see those guys, whoever wins fight next year. As for Randy, I don't know what to say. He looked okay. I don't know if age is going to be a factor at this point. He's probably not going to fight for a few more months. I don't even know who he's going to fight next. There's a lot of guys out there in the UFC, but in the heavyweight division, it's just going to be interesting to see how Randy's. He was gone for a year. He obviously wasn't improving much. He might have been training a lot, but I don't know. I don't think you can get much better than he is at this point. So it'll just be interesting to see how he bounces back. Randy usually handles adversity well and comes back strong. So we'll see what the UFC has next in store for him. But as you saw before and after the fight, the fans are really behind Randy. He's a beloved fighter in the division in the UFC. So it'll be interesting to see how things progress forward for him and Lesnar both. So that's it. Great night of fights. Really looking forward to the next UFC pay-per-view event in December. But we got a lot more MMA until then. So that's it for now. I'll talk to y'all sooner or later, probably for the next WC coming up in December. Till then, I'm out of here. Bye.